in to the Cash Flow Show with Dave and Nate, the best place to navigate how to achieve capital appreciation with commercial acquisitions. Here's your hosts, Dave Seymour and Nathan Amaral.
And we're here, and I wasn't even sure. Oh, where is Dave? All right, there you are. You there? We can hear you. I can hear you now.
Oh, that was scary. It was like half Nate, half Dave.
So I was actually confused. I was actually sending you messages. I'm like, is it going? Can you see me? Could you hear me? And I wasn't really sure.
I was dancing to the music.
Okay.
That's some crazy music you got going on.
It is pretty good. Next week, hopefully next week we have a new intro coming out per your approval.
Oh, we do?
Yeah. Well, we've been working on it.
What's that all about?
Well, just trying to make it, exciting. Trying to make it viewers like our Mark. What's going on, Mark? Mark saying hello.
Hey, Mark. How are you, brother?
And trying to make it, more engaging and interesting for all our fans, our millions and millions of fans.
So we do that. We do that with intro music. Is that it? That's what we got?
That's what it is.
It's pretty sad, isn't it? Hold on a minute. I just got another bag full of ballots dropped off at the door. I'll be back in a minute. I just got to go through and chuck some of them out, put some of them in. Actually, there's a funeral home around the corner from me.
Oh no!
And I found out that they went through the records of everybody that went through the funeral home in the past 4 years, and they added them all to the ballots as well. So we might actually get a recount here in. We might actually get a recount right here in Massachusetts as well. So who knows?
Oh no! Is that what's going to happen? It's really crazy, man. I've never seen anything like this before.
It's a little bizarre, isn't it?
It's very
Quentin,
bizarre.
I just saw we've got a new system. I can actually see the comments now. Nate's like upgraded his game. And Quentin, nice to see you there, brother. And your question was, what's the topic? Look, I don't know. That tells me that if the topic isn't right for you, you might go away. So I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to make you sit around and just listen.
Just listen. Just listen. You're just going to have to sit here and listen.
It's all good either way. Look, what is the topic? We're talking about cash flow. We're going to talk a little bit about, what November, what was it, November the 2nd? Is that what it was, or the 3rd?
I thought it was the 4th. Right now, it's the 6th. As far as I know,
so when was the election, the 2nd or the 3rd?
I think the election is on the 12th. That's what I think.
No, we already had the election this week. You Wally.
But has it really happened, though? Has it really?
Third. Well, no, I don't.
I don't think the election has happened yet. I think the election is the night or the day, the moment when they give that big speech. That's the to me, that's the moment.
But they both gave the big speech already, Nate Dogg.
They
You're
gave their...
out there in the Azores. You're not feeling the vibe on the street, man. I mean, there's some stuff going on right now. It's redonkulous.
I know.
It's redonkulous. Lawsuits are flying around. The stock market's knee jerking up and knee jerking down. It's all jerky everywhere. It's crazy.
It is crazy. This is very interesting times for sure.
Do the thing.
Do the thing.
I like it when you do the thing. Do it.
Next time, I should probably throw in music when I do the thing. Maybe like a. Again, I should do a...
Now you're just getting silly. Do it.
Welcome, everyone, to the Cash Flow Show. This is your hosts, Dave Seymour and Nathan Amaral. This is the place where we talk about coffee. And this is where we talk about cash flow in real estate and why it's the #1 wealth building asset in the world. No matter what's going on out there, this is the place to be. Dave, we're back. And Jonathan's here and Quentin's here. We got a lot of people coming on board here today.
Nice. Hey, Jonathan, Yakima. I haven't been out to Yakima, Washington in a long time. I did some training out in Washington and out there in Big Sky Country.
West, like the west part of the country?
Yeah, like way out there.
Wow.
I mean, there's some beautiful country out there for sure. Absolutely some beautiful country out there. So kind of interesting to get as many folks jumping in with us as we do. What is going on? We can talk a little bit about it. I just had a meeting with my partners this morning. What's funny, Nathan? Remind me to bring it up a little bit. We're actually dealing with international investors now.
Right.
Teamed up with a company that works in the UK.
Great.
And here's here's where I'm going. Once again, my brain is off in a direction, and we'll see if my mouth can catch up with it. We in America, due to COVID, due to election, due to social challenges that we've had, let's just be very frank, it hasn't been a particularly serene world in which we've been living in the U.S. And I think it's very easy to go to the negative, right? To go to the things that don't work, to focus on the pain and the challenges and the issues, and to spend, a lot of time there. Let's think about it. I'll give you an example. I know for a fact that it's interesting.
What?
Therapy right now, if you have insurance, doesn't require a copay because they're like,
bring them in.
Like, the mental health of our country needs a little bit of a boost.
Yeah.
And they're doing everything that they can to help us, because it's very easy to, wallow in the negativity that's going around. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is simple. After talking to investors outside of the U.S., UK, Tommy Sousa, what's up? Investors outside the U.S., investors in Europe. I'm talking with a couple of investment groups now in Africa, and also some pension funds and institutional investors who have spent years chasing yield better than 2-3%. I mean, there's some investment groups out there right now who are just holding on without any growth at all.
That's so low.
And we think we have problems, and we do. I'm not going to say that we don't, but the truth of the matter is the United States of America offers yield potential that is so superior to what competes out there internationally. South America investing, Brazil. I mean, it's just, I want to say it out loud because I think it's important.
I'll be quiet.
Listen, we are in the very best country in the world when it comes to this. We are. I just saw Pam Gorey jump on. She's up in Canada, doing a lot of business down here in the U.S. And it's like, we're in the very best country in the world for opportunity. And, to use the law of attraction, where focus goes, energy flows, or where energy flows, focus goes. It's one way or another. Yeah. Are you getting up and looking for opportunities, or are you looking for problems? Because it's really easy to find problems. But you know what? It's also easy to find fantastic opportunities right now. So that's my little soapbox speech. I'm gonna
add to that, because it's interesting. On November 3rd, I think it was, and I'm in a group where we post the things that we're grateful for every day. And one of the things I was grateful for on that particular day was the United States of America, and living in a socialistic country. For now, I'm clicking up to a year. It's actually today, my 1-year anniversary, or yesterday, or something like that. But living here, of course, I've traveled here, I visited here, I vacationed here, but living here, and you see the tight reins that socialism can choke out the excitement, the entrepreneurial spirit. It literally just scuffs it right out. And one of the things I said in that group was, I said, I am grateful for the United States of America for the freedom of movement of capital. No matter however you view debt, let's leave that aside, but the capital, the opportunity to borrow money, to use money, to make money, to turn things over, to start a business there's no other place like it in the world, for sure.
Yeah. We, again, it doesn't matter whether it's red or blue, Democrat, Republican. Really, at the end of the day, we're in a blessed society that allows us to make our own decisions. Okay? Yeah. It really does. It allows us to do our own due diligence. It allows us to work or be lazy. It allows us to be forward thinking or backward thinking. It's a country that allows, and I say this, and I always have to be careful, because it's like, I'm proud of my English heritage, right? I'm a London boy at heart.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also have that gratitude for the U.S. because, being born into blue collar, into a working class environment, my chances of growth, financially, business wise, was slim, man. It just was.
Yeah.
And then to be in a country like this that allowed me to, you know, make my own mistakes and suffer the consequences, right? And then be able to look at resolution to my problems and step into action rather than inaction, right? I was never the guy to sit on the couch with my hand out. I think I've said this before. I worked alongside Damon John for a couple of years. We did some events together.
Yeah.
And one of his favorite sayings is he'd always put himself in a position to give somebody a hand up, but he wasn't particularly keen on giving somebody a hand out, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's changed. I know we have our social programs and they're necessary, but at the end of the day, we also still reward action rather than inaction.
Yeah.
And the results are themselves. They're evident. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think over the years, and I like your perspective on this because you coming from England to the United States, but over the years that I've traveled around to many different countries, I've realized that my personal energy, what I get energy from, may not particularly be specifically the country, but it comes from not only the people, but the juice of entrepreneurial spirit. Like the opportunity, if the opportunity is there where you can turn a profit and you don't have to pay 70% of that, 80% of that to the government, and you can actually decide to do what you want with the capital that you have, that's what I call, opportunity and possibility. Because I found that, it's funny, Dave, living in 3 different countries over the years, I've never found a more entrepreneurial place than Uganda. And I thought that was a joke when I heard someone say, Uganda is the most entrepreneurial country in Africa. And I was like, no way. Started doing research, World Bank and all that stuff. And I was like, whoa. And so that is, of course, it's not just United States and Uganda, but there are other parts of the world where that is. And it's that energy, that opportunity that you just got to grab a hold of and build your life on. I think that's the most powerful thing that's available.
Man, here's something that this statistic was thrown around, and if you're listening to us, do your own research on it. But there was a statistic out there that said immigrants to the United States in entrepreneurial startup have a success rate of 3-to-1 over the natural-born American.
It's very true.
Which is maybe painful for some people to hear.
Yeah.
But yet at the same time, you talk about the African nations and their drive for entrepreneurship. It's the same in some of the more poorer countries of the world. If they see an opportunity for growth, they take it with a vengeance. They don't look for all the reasons why it won't work. They look for the reasons why it will. And I think that's what you're tapping into. So, in the middle of counting ballots, in the middle of COVID, in the middle of, social crises and challenges, what we think about is what we bring about. That's the focus. And, I said this to you at the end of the show last week. I get juiced up at the end of my hour with Nate Dogg, with my man, Nathan Amaral. I was talking to JK, a good friend of ours, Jason Kennedy out in Cali last week after our show. And I'm like, that was perfect, man. God is good. The 3 amigos I got to talk to all three of the amigos, you two and myself in one day. Man. So I'm very grateful for that, for sure. And look, it creates an energy. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
A mutual friend of mine down in Tampa connected me with a fantastic lady. We started texting yesterday. I said, why don't we jump on a Zoom call today? So I would say this lady's in my age group. Her husband is retired from a civil service position, got a good pension. But they're at that point in their life where they're like, the next 15 years are the critical ones. That's the decisions for our retirement, for our kids, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But it was such a blessing to find somebody whose energy immediately matched my own. Like it wasn't, you've heard me say it before, like pushing a donkey up a hill. If I'm pushing a donkey up a hill, forget about it. I'm not interested, right? what we have and what we do is not for everyone.
True.
But when the opportunity arises and people take action on opportunities, it's such a blessing. I spent 15 minutes on a Zoom call with this lovely woman, and I said to her at the end of it, I said, go onto our website, sign up for an investor account. Gives you an opportunity to look over our private placement memorandum. And only then, after you have read it and you are excited, will somebody follow up with you. So text me afterwards, thumbs up, thumbs down, excited, not excited. Because this opportunity goes, all opportunities go in one or two directions, either towards us or away from us, depending on the action we take when it shows up. And she's like, I'm already excited. I don't need to read the PPM. I said, you have to read the PPM. But, it's a blessing to know that in the middle of all of the chaos that's out there, authenticity, truth, decency, the fact that we do genuinely care about each other, that's gonna win out. It just is. No matter what those idiots do in Washington, no matter who's waving their flag the biggest. We are a society of laws. We're a society of truth, and we're a society of opportunity. So that's my take on it, man. That's where I feel that we are.
Speaking of opportunities, and sometimes people are looking elsewhere, where like we've seen people during this pandemic, they've moved out of California, they've moved out of Massachusetts, they've moved out of New York, right? So there are people who are looking in different areas. They're saying, hey, I'm done with this. Or I've even heard people saying, hey, if this president gets in again, I'm out of here, right? And some people have made those claims and actually taken action on that. What have you heard in regards to that? Like, what do you hear on that side of the pond?
I just had that discussion with Eric, my partner. He was over here this morning. We're doing a little brain dump on some scripts that we're working on. But Eric's 25 years old, and he is definitely in tune to that generational vibe and feel. And, prior to the election, the concern for the Republican vibe was, oh my God, it's going to be a blue wave. We're all going to hell, right? And that was what mainstream media. That's what all of the Pelosi and the messaging was. And again, no right or wrong. I'm not playing a political game with anybody. But what I will tell you is that this country still will have checks and balances. The democracy has done its job, I believe, to the best of its ability. Whether it's a Biden presidency or whether it's another 4 years of the Trumpster, it will not change the fact that any one philosophy, tax plan, social plan, there isn't any one plan that can just get railroaded through. So, people move in because of tax implications. Yeah, it still happens. I mean, there was an article that I read earlier this week. I think I sent it over to you. I don't know if you could pull that up. But there has been if you follow the one percenters, if you watch what they're doing, there you go. Yeah, the Puerto Rico. If you follow what the one percenters are doing, they'll kind of give you their insight and their clues as to what's going on. And here's two examples. I'll give you this example here. Home buyers give Puerto Rico another look during the pandemic. Now, the reason that this article grabbed my attention is I participated in some of these tax strategies a few years back. The island of Puerto Rico has what they call Act 20 and Act 22. And what it does is it allows for serious tax advantages if people live on the island of Puerto Rico. If you live there for, I think it's 186 days or a half a year plus one, then the tax advantages are ridiculous. It's 33% state, but there is zero federal. And when you start looking at what that means in tax savings, it's amazing. So they're down there and they're buying, these $5-6 million beautiful homes, right down there in the Caribbean. Now, why am I bringing that up? It's like I said, they know that there are tax implications that are potentially coming. To your point earlier, there are some countries around the world where they tax at 75-80% of income, right? Those environments where the government is everything and anything.
Yeah, the government's full control.
Right?
Yeah.
However, when we look at, what our government does with our tax dollars, they don't have a really good track record of spending wisely. All right, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Which is why, negative yields and 1-2% yields are a loser's bet in this economy because of inflation. So I like to see where they're going when they give me tax clues. And then the other thing is I like to see where they're spending their money. Mm-hmm. And if you look at Yale, for example, Yale University Endowment, Harvard Endowment, there was some statistics that came out recently. They did a study on it. Yale's endowment in real estate commercial has grown from 10 to 15%. And when I say commercial, I'm talking about multifamily is where they spend the majority of their capital.
Okay.
As does the Harvard endowment. So, I'm not putting myself on the playing field, right? Of the guys buying $5 million, $10 million houses and the girls buying those properties in Puerto Rico, but they're giving me a clue, number one.
Yeah.
And then number two, I can follow the smart money, right? How many times have we heard, just follow the money?
Right. Yeah.
Cut and paste.
Yeah.
Duplicate.
Another great example of that is if someone else is doing something successfully, right? Copy what they do, right? And that if you're in that area, field or work or whatever it is or business. And that's what you're saying is that you've identified, hey, these people are doing this strategy. They're investing here.
Right.
Well, that's a clue. Here's your clue,
Let's let me pull up. I'm going to do a screen share. See if we can do it.
All right, let's see if we can do it. All right, let's see if we can do it.
Google Chrome. I'm not using Chrome.
Wait.
I'm using Mac. So you got the deal of the week. Pull that up.
I got the deal of the week. Let me pull that
up for me.
Let's see here. Yeah, let's try. Oh, that didn't work. We're over here. I'm over there.
Oh, I went big. You went small. Bam! What was that little flash?
It's a little flash. Awesome. But the problem is, normally you and I were on the screen, but now we're not on the screen. I'm a little disappointed.
That's all right. I can scratch my.
Oh, there we go. Here we are.
All right.
That was intentional.
That was intentional. Thank you for that. All right, so let's talk about this, right?
Yeah.
Where's the smart money going, and why is it going there?
Yeah.
How clear is that on the screen? It looks a little blurry.
Does it look blurry? Okay.
A little bit. No worries. There you go.
Right.
Zoom in. Zoom out.
All right.
Left, move right. There you go. That works.
Okay.
Okay. So this has a letter of intent on it, as do all of the deals that we highlight on a weekly basis. Whether you're on our webinar with myself and my partners Eric and Walter, or whether you follow us with the Cash Flow Show, but this is just another one of those bread and butter, just kind of makes sense deals for us to do. It's a 90-unit garden style community. It's located in the metropolitan area of Orlando. We know that's a great area.
Yeah.
Disney and Universal. I hear you. What are you talking about Disney and Universal for, Dave? They're not making any money. Nobody's going there.
Right.
I saw a commercial the other day. It says, come to Disney, pay for, I think it was 2 days and get 3 days free. Something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think also, I mean, they're going to run specials. And I think what people need to understand is that, Disney World is not going anywhere. Right. So it's just a matter of time before everything picks back up.
So you know what it is? It's the ability to see an opportunity and take it rather than look over your shoulder and see that it's already passed, right?
True.
So, our buy and hold period for these assets in the fund, is a 5 to 6 year run, we'll say. 1 year to reposition the asset and then 5 years to grow it and make it more valuable. So I'm going to make a statement right here, right now.
Here we go. Brace yourself.
2 years from now, COVID will not have anywhere near, if any, impact on how we're living our lives. Okay? I think that's a pretty fair statement to make.
That's a fair statement.
2 years from now, it will not have the impact that it has today. So 2 years from now, I would have already owned this asset for that period of time and still continue to work it based on its current cash flow. I buy it on its current cash flow. So anyway, it was built in 96, so it's a B-class asset, renovated in 18. The property consists of 10 two-story apartment buildings sitting on 5 acres. nice relaxed atmosphere. Walter was funny on our call this week. He's like, it was so beautiful. I just had to go for a walk while I was there. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, it was peaceful, man. I said, okay, all right. I love it. If it's peaceful, great. Does it make money, right? The property's a desirable unit mix, 6 studios, 74 one bed, 1 bath. And then here's the money play. It's got 10 2-bed, 1-bath units, none of which are occupied. So I got those 10 units which are vacant, and they're all in need of repair. Property also has a coin op and an office facility, like a main room there, both of which need some repairs. So we're going to take this one down for $11,840,000. We're going to get an additional $500,000, which we'll invest into the property. Straight out of the gate, the 2-bed, 1-bath are all going to be bought up to beautiful. They'll be fully renovated, giving us the lease up. In addition, the buildings will be repainted, some nice landscaping, signage, repositioning, remarketing. Pool needs some cosmetic work, nothing too crazy there. And then the on-site office and coin-op facility need the renovation. I said to Walter, what does it need? Because I hadn't seen the pictures yet. He sent them over this morning, I think it was. The coin-op is an open-air outdoor laundromat.
What do you mean open air?
It's open air. It doesn't have a roof. It doesn't have walls. It's like...
What? Like you just walk up to it? Like you just walk up to it?
Like sitting inside like a bunker, like a shell. Oh
this reminds me of a coin, like a place I was staying at with a friend in Georgia, and their laundry facility was literally like just had a covering, like a rooftop on top of it.
Yeah.
And it was all open. And I'm like, wait, what? Like it didn't make sense.
Who wants to be doing their delicate tidy whities out in the open? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just not right. Any way you look at it, it's just not right. So anyway, it's a complete complete redo for the coin op and the facility there, which is great. It's an opportunity. You know, the current owner's already tired. They're already scared. They just want to unload it and move on.
Right.
So we'll increase the net operating income by $132,000. Bring the current rent rolls up a little, and then rent out the vacant 2-bed, 1-bath. So with that, we get the increase in valuation based on the cap rate in that marketplace of $2 million. So the projected returns on it year one, this is a beauty, 12.8% cash on cash quarterly distributions year one, leveraged up to 17.25 over the 5-6 year hold. The internal rate of return, the value of capital working for our investors over that period of time, is 21.5%. And then the equity multiple on this one is nice. It's a 2.8x on the equity multiple. So, you know, these are out there. Nate.
Well, Dave, could you explain the equity multiple? I like the way you explain that so well.
Yeah. So we'll in this example here, let's say our investor puts in 100,000. I'm glad you're just learning about us, Quentin. We're the real deal, man. We are the go-to guys. I like seeing the comments, Nate.
Oh, do you?
It's like I can have some fun now rather than reading them from you second time.
So everybody who's watching right now, just go ahead and leave a comment right now because Dave likes it so much.
Oh, I like it. It's like I'm having real conversations. I'm sick and tired of talking to you every day. So equity multiple is it's a valuation of capital working. Okay. So if you're an investor and you put $100,000 into a deal, and the operators talk about a 2.8 multiple, when the principal, the equity that you put in, is returned to you. So in this example, 100,000. The projection is at the end of the investment, you get your principal back 100,000, and in this example here, you would then get another 100,000 plus 80,000. So 180,000 on top of the principal is what a 2.8 multiple is. That's what it means. Yeah. So if it's $1 for every $1 you put in, you get your $1 back plus another $1.80. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what a multiple is. And then the IRR stands for an internal rate of return. It is a calculation that is done to explain the value of the return over the life of the loan. The reason that we can put double-digit returns in there of 20 plus is because our investors participate in cash flow through quarterly distributions, but then they also participate in the equity at the time of sale. So Freedom Venture Real Estate Fund is a closed fund, meaning it starts at a certain date and it ends at a certain date. And then it's not open. It's not capital just always in there. So that at the time of sale of the assets inside the fund, our investors get to participate in the value add that's created over the life of the fund and the assets in the fund.
But Dave,
did I explain that well enough?
Yeah, that was great. And I was going to lead into a question. That was actually very well done. It's so well done. You deserve a round of applause. So
do it.
But
do you have a round of applause?
Yeah.
You have a round of applause.
What? Couldn't you hear it? You can't hear it?
No.
You can only see comments, but you can't hear sounds. Oh, that's too bad.
I heard it. It was just like a. It was like a.
It was like a pity clap, yeah.
Like a rah-rah clap. I want to hear what it sounds like in Stamford Bridge when Chelsea scores a winning goal in the last minute of the game.
But Dave, I have all my money in my IRA. How do I invest in this? How do I do this? This is a question that comes up. So how do I do that, Dave?
Sure. Look, an IRA, an individual retirement account, a couple of challenges there. I mean, first of all, contributions are typically limited to around $5,000. For an individual, I think it goes up to like 6,200. But let's say an investor has an IRA and they're no longer either contributing to it. Same thing with their 401k, their retirement plans with their employers. We bring a lot of capital into the fund through what are called self-directed individual retirement accounts, SDIRAs. We work exclusively with a company called Horizon Trust. The owner of their company is a very dear friend of mine. You know what we should do? We should bring Greg on one week. You
just took the words out of my mouth. I was actually two things. Yeah. One, a little bit of education about what a self-directed IRA is. And then also, it'd be we should have him on the show.
Yeah, we will. We'll bring him on. Greg's solid. He's been in that industry for over a decade. He is what's called a custodian. And what they do is they create retirement accounts self-directed that allows an investor to look at a fund like ours and say, I would much rather look at, targeted double-digit returns in this fund than I would in, what else is going on out there for retirement options under somebody else's guidance. So, self-directed retirement accounts, great vehicle. It's definitely a huge opportunity to be able to move retirement funds at a more aggressive yield.
Anything that's being stuck and stale, right? Anything from being stuck and stale can now earn more income. Dave, questions coming in from Thomas about what do you think about all the units going in Lynn, all down Lynn Way? Do you think that it's a bad thing right now with everything going on in the world? Just asking. I am new to all this, following you guys.
Yeah, great question, Tom. Here's my take on this, right? So we're in Massachusetts. We are building like crazy. If you take Route 1 into Boston right now, and you go to East Boston, South Boston, Chelsea, Lynn, Revere, you will see such an exorbitant amount of real estate being built, whether it's apartment complexes, condo complexes, et cetera, et cetera. Here's where I'm at, man, and I keep it real direct and real simple. I am not interested in putting capital into an investment now that doesn't pay me cash flow ASAP. So all of those developments, Tommy, whether they're down on the Linway or whether they're in Eastie or South Boston, New York City, Connecticut, anywhere in New England, yes, they could be fantastic deals. For me, for my investors, for my investment strategy, I'm not interested, because I cannot predict with COVID and everything else that's coming down the pike what 8, 10, 12, 14 months from now looks like with regard to, will I have qualified buyers? Will I have a good tenant base? What does the tax structure look like in the state of Massachusetts compared to Carolinas, Florida?
Right.
I'm a landlord, right? I'm an operator. I want to be in, and look, love me or hate me, I don't particularly care, but I want to be in an environment that's landlord friendly.
Right.
When I have tenant challenges, as long as I've done the right thing, which we always do, when I get tenant challenges, I want execution to be on my side, not on the other side of the equation. So we have a simple philosophy at Freedom Venture Investments, and it's as simple as this. And it says, buy cash flow, Walter. Don't buy anything else. I don't want ground up development. I'm not interested in 18, 24-month projections. I'm not interested in knocking down a strip mall and building something else.
Right.
It's not our play.
Right.
The landscape is just too uncertain.
Yeah.
So I love the certainty of cash flow. There was cash flow on the day that I purchased it. So there's cash flow day one for my investors. And look, man, they get the first 6% preferred rip, right? They get the first 6% on the income. So, you know, I don't get paid unless I do a really good job. So that's the way we structured it.
Another great thing to add to what you're saying is that, you know, these are all based on numbers, right? And, you know, it's like this election, right? You have each state and you got each county and it's all broken down, right? So you got your team over at Freedom Venture who literally breaks down the granular and says, you know, this county, this area is at a faster growing pace than that other state or county. And that's really important. A lot of people, you know, they miss that. They just think like they get the blanket news that says, oh, you know, so, you know, what's the top 10 places to live in the United States? But that's not how real estate is always done. And I know for years, North Carolina was buzzing with investment and it wasn't even on the top 20 list of places to live in the United States, but now it's, you know, 5 years later, it's a growth market.
I'm watching some investment advisors out there. Hey, Johnny Halpin, I miss you too, brother. There's some investment advisors out there that I've been, you know, having some talks with the past few weeks, and they're New York guys, a lot of them. And it's funny that they're talking to me like they've got some secret sauce. And I'm like, this one guy says to me, he says, we found the very, very best market in the country for commercial multifamily investing. He said, not many people know about it right now. And I'm like, really? Where is it? Do you mind sharing it with me?
Oh, no.
He said, and he does one of these. He's like, you know, I was on a Zoom call and he's like looking over, making sure nobody else is listening. He goes, it's Tampa, Florida.
Oh, snap.
I'm like, what? Secret sauce? You're already 6 months behind us, you donkey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, to Nathan's point, you know, for us to maximize the velocity of our investors' capital, it has to be deployed in the right place at the right. It has to be.
Has to be.
And Florida, Florida, still one of the, if not the first, it's in the top 2 or 3 places for retirees, right? They flock to Florida. You know, they've got the villages in the middle of the country. You know, all the God bless them all. I'll be there soon. You know, all the old farts riding around in their golf cart, talking about what it was like when they were younger. And I love it, man. I think I identify with that age group more than I do my own.
When you say,
definitely notice. Right.
When you say you're going to be down there hanging out, are you moving yet, or what are you doing?
Mary Beth won't let me do it. I'm still trying to get the equity out of the house. It's time to go, baby, go. But look, the reason I bring up, you know, retirees in Florida is because statistically it brings 4 jobs for every retiree that goes down. So jobs means people can go to work. Jobs means people can pay rent.
Exactly.
You know, my avatar is not, you know, it's not somebody who earns, you know, $150,000 a year. My avatar is the, you know, the $60,000 to $80,000 a year employee who can, you know, live comfortably and safely and securely in decent surroundings and pay $850 to $1,200 a month in rent. And that demographic is growing. Not shrinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's growing. So, you know, that's why it's right place, right time. That's why, look, Tom, there is no right or wrong. There's just left or right. Okay. But what I will tell you is this: there were a lot of investors in 2007 who doubled down on building, who doubled down on new construction, who doubled down on all of the same things that we see around us today. And they got hurt, right? They got hurt. I had this conversation with a dear friend of mine. He's a doctor. And, you know, I said to him, I said, you know, I'm so conservative that sometimes I believe I miss investment opportunities in the sense that people, because I'll say, no, don't do it. And somebody will do it and they'll make money.
Right.
I said, does that discredit me?
Right.
Because I asked him direct, you know me, I don't fluff around. Tell me if you think I'm right. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. And let's have a discussion because I'll show you that I'm right. And, and I said to him, does that discredit me? He said, no, quite the contrary. He said, because when you do say it's a good deal, I listen and I move, right? Yeah. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. I have never lost one dime of an investor's capital in my career. Not one dime. Nor have I missed a distribution.
And I think a lot of people can get there's the whole thing about, being conservative and not conservative. But the reality is the people who are not as conservative and you see like, but they're buying this or they're building that. But down the road, you see their tragedy may not be right now. It looks good now, but down the road, if they're not conservative, when the heat comes, they're the first ones out.
Yeah.
So
look, if there is a safe play in that, I mean, the investor who can invest in a long-term strategy, new construction, new development, et cetera, et cetera. The investor who can park substantial capital, knowing that there is zero yield on that capital for 24 months, 18 months, whatever the projection is on it. The investor who can just let that capital sit for a potential, right, high yield X amount of time down the line, then God bless them. Yeah. My question to every one of those investors is why would you give up cash flow during the most volatile time we've ever seen, apart from maybe the crash, right? Yeah. Why would you give up cash flow when there is still a higher chance of a higher yield 6 months, so true. 6 years, 5 years down the line, right? So true. What does it look like for an IRR, an internal rate of return for the value of money going to work? So look, again, there's no right or wrong. It's just left or right. It's everybody's individual DNA for sure.
Yeah, it's true. Very true. Well, Dave, Crystal says hello.
Hey, Crystal, how are you? Nice to see you. I see your Facebook picture. I hope the guy you're hugging is your significant other.
Or what if it's her dad?
I don't know. It's a tiny picture on your screen, Nathan. I don't know. All right, look, let's do this. We're getting a ton of traction on the radio show.
Nice. That's right.
Yeah, 104.9 FM. Yeah. This Saturday at noon, the show airs. Fantastic interview with Walter Novicki, our Chief Investment Officer. I learned some things about Walter that I didn't know, and yet I still love him. So that's a great show. The week after that, I did a call with a really, really interesting guy. He's the #1 mortgage originator. He came out of, you were there, Nathan, writing the mortgages back in the day.
I was.
We recorded our interview on Wednesday of this week, and that'll air the week after. So tune in. I'd love your feedback on what you think on the content of the show, how you think we could make it better. Yeah, 104.9 FM. Yep, better than WBCM, Johnny Halpin says. Boom, chakalaka. We got a pretty nice following already. So tune into that show. You'll enjoy it. If you are on the North Shore this weekend, Saturday from 12 to 3, we have, I think there's only one, maybe 2 seats left for our investor luncheon at Polana's Steakhouse. We just snuck it in before the COVID. Oh my God, we're all going to die again. So info at freedomventure.com. If you look on the top right, we have a new tab up there that says events. If you click on that tab, you will be able to sign up for the last seat or 2 at Polana Steakhouse. It's a presentation for accredited investors who have yet to come into the fund. Very excited to do that. Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank is maybe either zooming in. If not, I have a small piece from him. I will have Greg Helene from Horizon Trust. He's going to come onto the call through Zoom. And also my accounting team, gentleman by the name of Dave Hall. Dave Hall has managed $500 million commercial real estate investment funds. He's also been the accounting team for some of those energy drinks you know of. And he was also the accountant for a world champion boxer. I can't mention his name, but if you talk to him one-on-one, he might have some pretty good stories.
Was he like 15-0? All right, we'll just drop it on it. Yeah.
All right. So they'll be on Zoom, and also Walter, obviously our CIO, will also be there. So great opportunity to open up your account with us at Freedom Venture Investments. Get some good questions answered live and in person. We are COVID compliant, so everybody's sitting down while you're eating. You don't have to wear a mask, but I've got to figure out how to present and wear a mask at the same time. So maybe I'll just cut a little hole in the middle of the mask.
I think that might work.
Just talk through the hole.
That's gonna work.
I might have to sit down. I'll figure it out. So yeah, please join us. Polana Steakhouse, freedomventure.com. Click on the tab that says events, and I believe there's one, possibly two seats left, and that includes a spouse, business partner, significant other. So yeah, man, we're in motion. Fourth quarter, a lot of money moving this quarter. A lot of money.
Awesome.
A lot of money moving.
Good stuff. So, this is good stuff. Guys, if you're in the Peabody or Massachusetts area, even Rhode Island, heck, take a drive.
Hold on. Time out.
What, you don't want Rhode Island?
Peabody.
Isn't it Peabody?
You're from Massachusetts.
It's not Peabody? Peabody. Oh, Peabody.
Peabody.
When I read it.
Coming from a guy, hold on a minute.
Listen.
That's coming from a guy who grew up in Nebefa.
Listen. Fall River. But listen, when I go to the website and I click on events and I see the word Peabody, that's what I see. Peabody. It's Peabody?
Peabody.
Peabody. I don't know.
See,
it sounds.
You take you out of Massachusetts.
So is it Tampa? Is it Tampa or Tampa?
It's Tampa. Tampa. And I told you the only reason Brady went there is so he could still be TB12. Tampa Bay.
Was that? Oh, that was a football joke. I don't even know.
No, we should wrap this.
It's done. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining in the Cash Flow Show. So good to have you here. Thanks for everyone for joining in and saying hello and asking questions. We'll see you next time. Same place, same time. Take care.